It all begins with the flicker of an idea. A screenwriter expands it and develops it into a full-blown story. So where do those ideas come from and what do they say about our culture? Bobette Buster is a screenwriter and story consultant who's worked in Hollywood for decades. She joins us now from Los Angeles. Bobette, it's great to have you back on the show. I'm remembering when you came and did a seminar with us. And I just want to wonder with you, is there anything in these Oscars that reflect God's heart for the human race?
Well, I think we're hardwired to be storytellers, and we're called to be creators, co-creators, and cultivate a garden. And stories represent a sort of a release of a pressure valve on our culture where we're trying to make sense, coherence out of the chaos in our lives. And absolutely, these stories that rise, within the Oscar award season. And there are many stories that aren't represented here. After all, I mean, it's a field of several thousand films, and we're just seeing the top 9 for Best Picture. They're all filmmakers who are struggling to ask, the big questions of our times, whether it's about evil, marriage, being a good father in the face of trying to achieve your dreams, what is war? And class distinctions as we come into a world now that is much more about class war than it is about anything else. So yeah, I think this is very important to all of us.
Okay, so let's talk about one of those important topics, Bombshell. Bombshell's up for a number of different awards. This is the great coming to conscience of Hollywood, is it? Tell us about Bombshell and what it's saying.
Well, Bombshell is obviously coming out of the whole Fox News and Fox Network issues around the metoo movement. And it's happening, obviously, as we're also going through, finally, the Harvey Weinstein trial. But there's been a whole season of what they call, the top scalps of media moguls in Hollywood who've been outed for their power politics. And Bombshell reflects a way to go into that story and see how women are co-opted. In order to have career opportunity, they have been obviously co-opted since the beginning of time, and certainly since the beginning of television, in how they can move forward. And women have been talking about this and no one has been listening. And that is the big mantra of the Me Too movement. At last, people are listening, and Bombshell sheds a light on that. Frankly, it has these major stars, Charlize Theron, who's also producer, Nicole Kidman, Margot Robbie, and we get a multifaceted view. It's not just one woman against the system, a multifaceted view of how power actually works.
And Bobette, it's been like a great corrective, hasn't it? A great conscience, the whole...
Well, there's lots of, yes, it is a corrective. There's all in the discussion in Hollywood of how, an awareness now of how do we act as adults with each other, and what is power, and how do we behave in the face of power. It's been a huge consciousness raising. Now, there's a lot of discussion of where do we go from here? How can we create more opportunity? I mean, the Academy itself, the Oscars itself, is still very white and all male oriented. It's not diversified enough. There's a lot of backlash and anger this year at the caliber of the nominees, not reflecting really what the culture is going towards.
Okay, Bobette Buster, thank you. It's actually been an amazing thing to see such a huge outcry and well reflected then in the movies that these correctives are undertaken. Bobette Buster, screenwriter, story consultant, thank you.
Thank you.